There's a super interesting article in The Atlantic that I read. And you know, if you've been listening to this show for a while, that I've been saying automation and technology will destroy jobs. In the early 1900s, at the beginning of the 20th century, new technology destroyed some jobs, but it created new industries that led to even more jobs. So technology was a net positive in terms of employment. We are now at the point where automation and robots and technology are getting so advanced that there is no longer a net positive effect. Technology in the next 20 years is going to destroy jobs and not create enough new industries or jobs to make up for that. Transportation, we've talked about many times. We've got driverless Ubers already in Pittsburgh. Although temporarily, you still need to have a human that can take control of the vehicle. We did a story recently about driverless drone farm tractors, which are going to drastically upend agriculture. We already know about the driverless truck corridor that is in place, I forget exactly where, somewhere in the mountains of the United States and in mountain time zone. We know about automated ore mining trucks that are already operating in Canada. This is happening. So first of all, you agree, Rachel, that there is really no turning back the flow of technology at this point and saving jobs merely for the sake of not eliminating certain industries.
Right. But I also think that if you're in the technology sector, there's going to be more jobs because they need people who are engineering all these technologies and who are writing the code and who are creating the robots.
Oh, yeah.
But then if you're in a position of, say, someone who is in customer service, then it's going to take over. So
there's no doubt that automation is going to create some jobs. It's just that the net effect is going to be very, very negative. So anyway, I read this very interesting article in The Atlantic called The Next Industrial Revolution. And of course, it predicts that we are going to see, they're calling it the next industrial revolution, but really what we're talking about is automation and self-driving cars, healthcare, robots. There's no doubt in my mind that for many medical procedures, robots are eventually going to be better and have a lower error rate than live human surgeons for many procedures. This is going to, as the article in The Atlantic suggests, destroy millions and millions of jobs. And yeah, I don't know how anyone can really disagree with that at this point. I know that it's kind of sad in a way, but for years, every time I talked about self-driving cars, people would email me and they'd say, David, you're wasting time. I mean, this is it's just not happening. And today we have self-driving cars being piloted in countless countries. And if you believe that the pilots are going to fail and everybody will say, you know what, we tested it and we're not doing it, you're sort of living in a fantasy world. I think the biggest risk that we can make as a society of humans right now, Rachel, is to focus only on denial that this is happening and ignore thinking about what changes we need to make to adapt to this coming change. I think that is the biggest risk. We should be talking about basic income. We should be talking about so many things. And if we ignore that, that's really concerning to me.
I think so too, but I also believe that people aren't acknowledging the fact, well, maybe they're acknowledging, but they're having trouble accepting that if there's certain things that the human brain is not equipped to understand, or it's just too much information. Looking at big data, for instance, if we can train a computer or a machine, a deep neural network, to understand that information, then we're going to advance society. And while that then may push some jobs under the rug, so to speak, those advances are instrumental.
If we adjust our expectations of society in the right way, right? I mean, we just need to say, if we eliminated the need for everybody to have a full-time job in order to subsist, one of two things could happen. The people who have the jobs that won't be automated will do fine, and everybody else is going to basically sink into poverty and will become a dystopian, horrible society, the likes of which you see in science fiction books and movies. That's one way it could go. The other way it could go is we say, hey, you know what? We've gotten so advanced as a culture that now basically people can get by with 20-hour-a-week jobs because we've established a basic income, because we are moving post-scarcity when it comes to things like basic food supply, basic shelter, etc. These amenities need no longer be rationed in a way where the poor don't get them. And we're going to rethink everything we're doing, and your well-being is not going to be as directly connected to employment. I get you look very skeptical over there, Rachel, and I get that this is sort of like a long road that we're going to go down. But if we don't think about this in a real way, we're just going to see a broadening of the wealth inequality and income gap, and it's going to be sort of bad for everybody. We'll continue talking about it. Check out this article, The Next Industrial Revolution.